There is a remarkable halacha about Kriyat HaMegillah which does not apply to most of us, but it's so remarkable that it's hard to avoid mentioning it. Tafresh Peichet Aleph. Krachim amukafim choma miyemot Yeshua ben Nun. Cities, towns, which are surrounded by walls, dating back to the time of Yeshua ben Nun, that means the conquest of Eretz Israel, which obviously was many years before the story of Purim. Afilu einan mukafim achshav, the Shulchan Aruch says, even if they're no longer surrounded by this wall, you read the Megillah on Tet Vav. And the Mechaber says categorically, even if these cities are outside of Eretz Israel, and even if they don't have 10 people in that city who sit and learn all the time, right? So this halacha has to do obviously with the fact that, check the Megillah, with the fact that the battle went on in Shushan Abirah for another day, and this is explained. This is explained in the Mishnah Brura, that the Jews in every place in Persia fought on the 13th and rested on the fought on the 13th and rested on the 14th, and then the 14th became for them a day of mishteh v'simcha, of excessive eating and joy. But in Shushan, they fought another day, also on the 14th. And the day of their holiday was on the 15th. And since in the first year, I'm just telling you what the Mishnah Berurah says, since the first year of Purim, it was divided into 2 different days, some on the 14th and some on the 15th. And therefore, when Mordechai and Esther, with the agreement of the Anshe Knesset HaGdolah, had to determine that Purim would be a holiday that would go on for the generations, they also wanted to maintain a memory of Purim as a 2-day holiday, right? And then he goes on and explains further. It perhaps would have been more reasonable to say that every city that has a wall around it, like Shushan, the city of Shushan, will be like Shushan. And it was, therefore, it would be giving honor to Shushan, and any city like Shushan at the time of Achashverosh, well, that would be the reasonable, what we might expect the takana to have been. But the Mishnah Berurah goes on and explains to us, since Eretz Yisrael hayta chareva ba'et boto et, since Eretz Yisrael was largely lying in destruction after the Churban Bayit Rishon, v'yeh lefi zeh, and according to that, it would turn out that the cities that are surrounded by walls that are in the diaspora would then somehow be given an importance that would go even beyond the cities in Eretz Yisrael, because there were no cities at that time that were surrounded by walls. And therefore, they made this special consideration in order to maintain the honor of Eretz Yisrael. And they said, even cities that today, at the time of Purim, are not surrounded by walls, but were surrounded by walls at the time of Yeshua ben Nun, there they would also read the Megillah on the 15th. And there everybody else would read the Megillah on the 14th. So that there was an interest, according to the Mishnah Berurah, there was an interest in including Eretz Yisrael as being kind of the seat of Purim, even though we know that Purim took place in Persia, and that Shushan Habirah, the capital city, Shushan, was not anywhere near Eretz Israel. Nevertheless, when Mordechai and Esther and the Anshe Knesset Agdolah, right? Mordechai and Esther were also part of the Anshe Knesset Agdolah. Mordechai certainly, and they looked around and they saw the future, and the future for them was that the Jews would be in Eretz Israel, and in order to maintain the city, they wouldn't be in Shushan Habirah, right? We're not talking about the situation in Persia, Iran today, which is certainly not, a happy one. But they saw that the future of Am Yisrael would be in Eretz Yisrael. And therefore, there had to be a way of commemorating the holiday of Purim as originally celebrated in Persia by the Jews on 2 different days. And therefore, they said, some people, most of the people would read the Megillah on the 14th day. They would have the celebration the 14th. But Arim Mukafot Choma, Miyamot Yoshua bin Nun, those cities that are surrounded by walls, not today, because there weren't those cities today that were surrounded by walls. From the time of Yoshua bin Nun, should read the Megillah on the 15th of Adar.